live stream as I drive back. Yeah, knight f3 d5. No, I realize I know exactly where it is, and I know why I thought it was here too. So we get d5 d3. I play g6 here. Let me stop the music so you guys can hear. So I play g6. Now we get g3, bishop g7. Emery plays bishop g2. Now I go pawn to e6, and here he plays this very strange move, bishop g5. So I go knight to e7. Now the reason this doesn't really make a whole lot of sense is because normally you want to line up a pin, but in this case I just go here and I can kick the bishop out with h6 next move. So we get knight c3. I play h6. Emery goes bishop to f4 here, and now I play the move pawn to c5, trying to build a big black center. We get bishop to e5. Another dubious move by Emery. I suspect at this point he's just trying to play something a little bit different, but he should have played something like e4 castles, because after bishop e5 f6 he has to take, and now I have the bishop here, I have big black center, and everything here is really, really nice for black. We get e4, d4, knight to e2, and now I play e5, creating classic connect 4, almost a pyramid as well if I can get b6. Castles is played, and now I castle. We get pawn to c3. I go bishop to e6, just putting the bishop on knight square where it targets a2. I can also go queen d7 and bishop h3 later on. We get pawn takes pawn. I take back with a c pawn. Knight to d2 is played, and now I play the move queen to b6, targeting the pawn on b2. What was the moment of the game? So in the game, I believe the moment, so b3 is played. I believe the moment in the video is right around, I think it's this position after c5. If I go back here, oh no, it's not. It's right before I play c5. Actually, it's right before I play c5. If we look at this closely, it's the pawn's on c7 here. This is after h6 bishop f4. It looks like I'm thinking here before playing pawn to c5, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it looks like. So, all right, back to the game. I'll change the scene, of course. Back to the game here. So like I said, we have this position after e5, castle c3, bishop e6, takes. He goes knight to b2. Now I play queen b6, b3. I play queen to a6, targeting the pawn on d3. And here, black is just much better, much more space to center, and open file that you can control on the c file and the bishop pair as well. So now we get queen to b1. Play pawn to b5 here. Very simple move, just stopping the knight from coming to c4 here. And again, I want to infiltrate and stack on the c file. So we get pawn to f4. When did DGT become a big thing in top pairs? You mean like digital clocks? Is that what you mean? We'll get to that after the recap. So f4, bishop f7 is played here. Pawn takes pawn. Now I take back. One big problem with this again is that one of the things you have to know is that when you have the B's, diagonals might be closed for a while, but eventually if they open up, the bishops are going to have a lot more scope. And long term, after trading here, I can go like h5, bishop h6, and take this long diagonal towards c1. So bishop h3 is played by Emery. Now I play the move queen d6, pawn to a3. I go a5. Don't know if this is the best move. Again, as you can see from the game, this was a quicker game, so this was not classical. We were playing the 3-day schedule, so we're playing 5 games in one day of game 30. So after a5, rook a2 is played by Emery. Now I go h5. Idea to play bishop h6 and take this diagonal. Again, the B's are starting to look very, very strong. The f7 bishop is very, very good, targeting b3 and a2. I get the bishop on h6, targeting the long diagonal towards c1. So now we get pawn to a4. So now I play knight to c6. He takes. I take back, and now we get the move knight to c4 here. And now I play queen to e7 in this position. Now again, black is just much better. I have bishop h6 to take this diagonal and maybe put the bishop on e3. I can also stack the rooks on b8 and b5 and go after this weakness on b3. So now knight c1 is played here by Emery. I go bishop h6, keeping an eye on the knight, also keeping an eye on the e3 square. Rook a to f2 is played by Emery, and now I find the very nice move bishop to e3, creating a pin with the bishop towards the rook and the king. So now Emery has to take the bishop, even though he doesn't want to. The problem is when he takes, now this also creates a great bastion. My knight is jumping to d4 immediately, and it's probably already lost for white. So we get rook f3. I go knight d4, chucking the pawn, and after rook e3, I play queen to g5, putting pressure on this diagonal. I also have h4, targeting the pawn on g3. So here Emery plays rook e1. Now I go queen to d2. Emery plays king to h1, and now I play this very nasty move, pawn to a4. The reason that white can't play rook to d1 here is then I go knight f3 check. If king h1, you get mated. If you take the knight, then you lose the rook on d1. So he plays king h1. Now I go pawn to a4. Rook d1 is played. I go queen to b4, and the idea is very simple. My king side is actually very safe here. I can always go king g7, and if I get this past b pawn, it's going to be too much to deal with. Additionally, you look at the knights. Great knight on d4, this knight on c1 really not doing anything here. So I've got a great knight, I'm getting a pass pawn, and my king side is relatively safe, so it should just be winning. Emery plays queen b2. Now I take with the pawn, of course, because now he wants to go like queen f2 and try to do something fast. It just doesn't work, so I have b2, b1. And after knight e2, I go knight takes knight, queen takes, and I just go b2 anyway. And this pass pawn really strong on b2. He has to go queen c2, go queen c5, queen d2, and now I play the very nasty move bishop to a2, which ends the game because I'm threatening to make a queen. And if white trades on f8, I can capture with the queen, not the king, because after king takes queen h6, white is actually able to save the game. But I can just take with the queen here, and again, I'm just going to make the queen with the pawn, push to b1, and end the game. So Emery tries queen h6 here, last gasp sort of desperation attempt. If I were to queen here, for example, white is actually winning somehow. I'm not sure how. Like that's after king h8, push check, and just rook b1. And if I take with the bishop, there's a mate. If I take with the rook here, for example, white can play rook takes rook, not rook c1, of course. And again, same problem with bishop e6. So I don't want to do that. So I just go rook b6, very calmly guarding the pawn. There's no bishop e6 because I take with the rook and I still guard. And so here I'm just guarding with the rook. I'm still trying to make a queen, and my queen on c5 can simply capture on f8. So this is just very good. So you get pawn to d4 being played by Emery, sort of desperation. I just take. He plays bishop f5 here, and now I just take queen g5, king h7, and queen takes h5 doesn't work because I could just go rook h6. King guards the rook, rook is guarding f5. I'm going to make a queen and end the game. So here we get rook takes f5. Now I take back. Emery takes with the pawn. I play b1 equals queen, and here Emery resigns the game. If he takes on h5 again, rook h6 is good. There's no queen f7 check because I can just capture with the bishop on the backwards diagonal. And if he takes on b1, for example, I mean, many ways to win, but even just taking with check is good enough. Or queen d5. So many different ways to create a checkmate. So this was the fifth and final game that Emery